Hey everybody, Felix Staffelbaker here. Wanted to make a video about Far Peak Acquisition Corporation and basically the SPAC, the SPAC that's happening for Bullish that was actually brokered by JP Morgan to be able to facilitate this deal, and just how big of a deal it is that Bullish is going public with this Far Peak acquisition using a SPAC. And most people don't realize, but there's major reasons why this is so huge, and people are just not, I don't think, grasping just yet, but they definitely will. But I mean, if you think about it, Block 1 going public will now have to answer to public shareholders, and they'll have to have transparency and share public profit datas, and they'll have to just be exposed to the investors. And it just makes a lot of sense when you think about the CEO of Bullish coming on board, Tom Farley, who was the CEO at the New York Stock Exchange before he was at Far Peak. And I mean, they're going to be compliant and they're going to be accountable, and there won't be any manipulation and all that stuff because of all these security and just different levels of due diligence, research, and quality people that Block 1 is acquired to be able to make all of this happen. And there's only really two reasons you would ever need to use a SPAC in order to go public. And the first reason would be capital, and you would merge with a company that already had a ton of capital, and it would give you complete access to that liquidity and would give you access to that capital to be able to robustly try your startup and hopefully be successful that way. But think about it, Block 1 doesn't need capital. They've got plenty of money on their own. They're putting plenty of money into Bullish, and then Bullish on its own already had close to $10 billion in liquidity coming on board and all this crazy stuff. Tom Farley even said that he was going to put $3 billion into of the balance sheet of Bullish onto Bullish, and literally just eat his own dog food, just like Dan Larimer. So whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or EOS, that could be $1 billion each. I mean, they're going to make out like absolute, just the biggest boys ever. The Industrial Revolution, oil industry, and big barons, and all those people are going to look like nothing compared to the types of money that some of these bigwigs are going to make, and big entities are going to make, and big individuals are going to make. I mean, this stuff is going to mint the first trillionaire for sure. But then the second reason you would ever want to use a SPAC in order to go public with your company is to acquire the leadership and to be able to use and facilitate the knowledge of the executives and the people on the board and those things in your project. And that's obviously what's going on here. Tom Farley is now going to be the CEO of Bullish, where before he was from Far Peak Acquisition. They're merging using a SPAC, Bullish going public under them. And I don't necessarily know if that means that Far Peak stock will turn into Bullish stock on the stock market, but I'm not sure how that necessarily works. But that's basically what's happening here. And all the leadership and people, the same, strategic way Block 1 acquired Marty Chavez and Peter Thiel and all these folks who've rotated into their board member roles for specific reasons. Now there's specific reasons for using a SPAC to be able to acquire some of that labor that would make things so much better for Bullish and Block 1. I mean, indispensable knowledge from the guy who's already ran the New York Stock Exchange to be able to run this exchange. I mean, you just can't buy that type of experience. So I just wanted to put that out there. Staffelbaker out.